celebrating the journey, impact, and vision of the Morehouse Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center. Every great movement has a beginning. This is ours.
I was looking for different approaches. A couple of my colleagues or reports, faculty members, came to me. John, you need to look into this mentorship program that this Professor Bussey has. I said, oh yeah, okay, fine.
We had a body of work that we were supporting the Department of Defense Mentor Protege program in helping small firms become better federal contractors. Under the HBCU requirement, we needed a new HBCU, and there was Morehouse.
I remember going to a conference and a seminar that was a mentor protege program seminar, and I had just kind of started my company. I didn't have many employees. I'm just kind of trying to figure out the landscape, and I met Dr. Tiffany Bussey.
Oh my goodness, a governmental contractor, number one, the Department of Defense. And well, I'm from Washington, D.C. And so I had some notion of what governmental contracting was about because I had relatives, uncles, and those sort of folks that had done this kind of thing.
I am so appreciative that the leadership at the time, Dean John Williams, heard about our story.
And so I did talk with her. The reason I was so willing to partner with Dr. Bussey was because the program was actually self-supported.
And I could recall the exact words that he said. Are you telling me that you can bring a program over to Morehouse? I provide you with an office, the Morehouse name, the Morehouse umbrella, the Morehouse branding, and this program will pay for itself plus more in supporting student activities? And the answer was yes.
I said, that's great, and that's certainly different from what we've been doing. Just having a workshop, a seminar, and inviting them in and teaching them how to make sure they got their accounting right or their taxes right. But that was it. There was nothing about growing their skills and exploring their markets and those kinds of things.
And I'm listening to all the wonderful things, the benefits of being in this DoD Mentor Protege program. And I remember talking with her, and she said, "Oh, you're not quite ready. This is a program for a company that's a little more mature than yours. I'm thinking you're probably about 2 years away from being ready for this program." And I remember fast forward 2 years, and I remember when we got accepted into the program, I looked back at my notes and it was 2 years to the day.
It reminds me of the emergent theory, that it is not really a plan that you sit down and think of all the factors and go execute.
We just learned a lot. We probably went from, if I remember the metrics correctly, maybe about a dozen employees up to close to 100 during that program.
That was the genesis of changing our entrepreneurship program from the traditional moms and pops, let me teach you how to do your income taxes this year, and to rather developing the skills such that they were exposed to these business types, exposed to more areas of business other than small retail.
We were able to scale much faster. I don't know of many companies, unless they've got significant funding that most small businesses don't have.
And as they say, the rest is history. Here we are, 20 years later.
From humble beginnings, the MIEC emerged as a beacon for innovation, creating opportunities for Black entrepreneurs and leaders.
In that first year, I did around 6 figures in sales. We did a little over like $105,000 in revenue. So now I'm 4 years into the business, and the company does $500,000 a year in cleaning services all throughout Atlanta. Working on hitting $1 million now.
Innovation thrives where connections are made.
So as we thought about programming that really, again, emerged and made sense as we were executing, again, we were building the plane as we were flying it. The whole idea of being at an academic institution meant that we had to serve our two sets of customers, if you will. The student, that are the main student customers here at Morehouse, and the businesses in the community. So our job all along for the 20 years is how do we marry those two?
When I was at Morehouse, I participated in the OHUB lab. It's before they changed the name, and in OHUB is where I started nurturing the ideas I had of being an entrepreneur.
It started through the Village Micro Fund. They were part of the Ascend program, and I remember Dr. Bussey came in, so we were hosting the classes on Morehouse's campus, and she would come in, talk about Ascend. And I'm used to hearing a lot of jargon about stuff, especially here in Atlanta. But Dr. Bussey and MIEC were very intentional about showing the support that they wanted to give for Black entrepreneurs, especially here in the city.
So as you look at our programming, you will always see the interaction of our Morehouse alums coming back into the classroom, and also the students being embedded into the businesses.
We are now mentoring other companies. I speak to her class, our entrepreneurship class, and meet those young kids while they have that fresh dream and remembering when I was like that.
The MIEC had put some undergraduate students to work with us, and that was the assignment that I gave them. Digital social media marketing, to do research on how we could market to the industry within the commercial coatings industry, specifically at the airport.
Because it's through this seeing an entrepreneur, seeing the actual way a business run, brings the reality of what it means to be an entrepreneur and a small business owner.
Early on in my journey, I didn't feel as confident or comfortable making those connections. I didn't feel confident using the language, but now I walk into a room, I know what I'm talking about. People can sense and see that I've had quality training, quality experience. I've spoken and met new mentors, and they're all putting me on the right path to where I want to be.
I was able to see entrepreneurs like Scooter, Paul Judge, and at the time, it was only a couple people in the OHUB room, i.e. the Innovation Lab now, and being exposed to that and seeing people have ideas like I did and want to start their company or start an idea, and then a space where you can actually work on it, it was really important and really big for me.
I was telling a friend the other day, it's been amazing meeting so many dope people across the city. You don't know what's right under your nose until somebody says, hey, look, here's what's here for you.
Since the 2022, we've built a team of 4 people, and MIEC was the catalyst for that.
As we think of programming to support the businesses in the community, we're also doing experiential programs to build and help students think about becoming entrepreneurs. All of our programs always think about how do we marry those two.
By merging academic excellence and real-world business acumen, MIEC is creating a thriving ecosystem of Black entrepreneurship. Coming up.
We are happy to report that we received our first Prime Award from US Air Force just a month back. And it would not have been possible if not for the mentorship, input, and financial support offered by MIEC.
From that program, I've been able to raise close to $5 million now in VC capital. And the MIEC program is the one that taught me how to pitch.
Our influence doesn't stop at the gates of Morehouse. It travels far and wide.
Our work, I would say, is fundamentally tied to the strategy of Dr. Martin Luther King's work, our most famous alum, who really was, just before, I guess, his demise, was looking at economic justice. And as we think about the work and the body of work of entrepreneurship and why we do this work, what is our why, Morehouse, being who we are, looks to also Morehouse beyond its gates. We cannot just serve the students on our campus. We know that one of the pathways to decreasing the income inequality gap in this country is through entrepreneurship.
We have been associated in 2 Morehouse Innovation and Entrepreneurship Center programs, one in 2020 and one in 2024.
I was a part of the salon cohort.
I participated in the airport concessions cohort.
I was in 3 programs, including the first ever Ascend program. I was in the inaugural cohort. I was in cohort number 3, and then I did the last cohort with the construction companies.
We've learned a lot doing this work. When we first started, we were focused on tech startups, starting businesses, and as we evolved, we understood that the ecosystem got a bit crowded and more what we call business serving organizations start entering the Atlanta market, servicing the startup end. What we know now is that truly to start and scale and to help decrease that income inequality gap through this pathway of entrepreneurship, we need employable firms. We need organizations that can employ people, which means that they got to be bigger. We have to help businesses scale and grow. And that's where our work is right now.
Most founders of color, we really don't have that knowledge, or we don't know many people that have been able to raise venture capital. And so having a program like MIEC to come in and really help us and train us on how to deliver a pitch that investors want to hear and then be able to raise money is just so crucial and so important for underrepresented founders.
You learn how much is possible and what supports are around you. And I didn't know that before this program, so.
I was lost as a business owner, so getting guidance, stability, and just a platform to help me and encourage me to move forward with my business.
So what all this has helped us do, one, it has made us financially stable. It has helped us grow substantially within the federal public sector ecosystem. Got ourselves multiple small business certifications, and we received our first Prime Award from US Air Force.
We run cohort programs that focuses on industry sectors, construction, healthcare, retail, and others as in clean tech, as we are about to launch a cohort in that area. So we're looking for where the growth dynamics are for where Black businesses have not been traditionally. How can we scale these businesses to increase employment, increase sustainability, and to really help them to grow from $1 million to $5 million to $10 million to $50 million and above.
Honestly, you don't know what you don't know. And I've always thought about going into the airport, but it felt too big. It felt almost impossible, or for someone way further along than me. Having programs that come out of HBCUs, out of Morehouse, is that it's by people that look like you. They understand these small fears that you may have. They understand hurdles that you may have, and they have a built-in group of people to surround you through those difficulties and those moments of doubt.
There are a lot of unanswered questions. I mean, Google doesn't tell you anything when it comes to owning a business, so the program was great. As a business owner, it has given me confidence to move forward with my dreams and my aspirations. I'm just ready for the venture ahead.
I would like to thank Dr. Tiffany Bussey, Danita, and all members of MIEC for being small business champions.
We believe that social justice cannot be achieved without economic justice. And entrepreneurship and business ownership is one path to economic empowerment.
The MIEC is not just a center. It's a movement that transcends boundaries and empowers communities.
I'm super, super excited of where we are. Where do we go from here? Very interesting.
The past 20 years are just the beginning of our story.
We're in different times, we're in some very uncertain times, but I'm very hopeful. I think we're just beginning to scratch the surface for this work.
Well, I am so impressed with how this entrepreneurship is now has a major role in the school, because I read in the new mission statement, somewhere entrepreneurship is included in the mission statement for the School of Business now. So we have come a long ways.
I think in the next few years, we will dig deeper into the scalability of these businesses to understand a bit more. We have our very first research component piece of our center coming out this year, and I would like to see more research around the work that we're doing. There's a huge void in how do we grow and scale Black businesses, both in the literature, both in the academic world, and both in practice. So our vision is that we become this epicenter of the research and practice of understanding Black businesses, not just how we start them, but how do we scale them and grow them and sustain them. So that's number one. I would love to see the center really focus on that area of research. From a practitioner's point of view, and I say that very specifically, again, from where we sit in an academic environment, that we must make the research relative to the practitioners. We sit in a very unique spot. I often say we're the boots on the ground. We're in the trenches with the entrepreneurs. So we have access to some data that some other researchers might not have, which had created some barriers in why we have not seen some of this research. So I think it creates an awesome opportunity for us to really do that and become the expert at Morehouse, the epicenter of this. The second piece, I think that there is much more work to be done in understanding the sector type of training, taking it deeper. We have done great in transactional workshops and understanding the surface of the why. We now need to get to the granular level of really understanding the firm level for these businesses and teaching at a deeper level. Not just going wider and touching more companies, but going deeper and being embedded to understand the micro level of these firms in doing that. And that's going to take much more time. It's going to take much more resources in order to get that done. But I do believe that that's the direction that the center needs to go. I am very, very proud of this work that we have been doing for the past 20 years. I often tell folks that I perhaps have the best job in the world.
Punching beyond our weight.
I work with the most amazing people. I have a leadership that supports this work. The team has been fantastic. Our family, the director of operation, Bonita Moore, I often joke that she's my spouse, work spouse. We've built quite a core. We are a mighty team that gets a lot of work done, and so for that, I am super, super grateful. I have not, I can't imagine doing anything else than what I'm doing right now and in growing this. I think that we have done a body of work here that sets the stage for Morehouse to really go to the next level. I love that we have a minor. I love that students are coming in and are hopeful and are energetic and really see entrepreneurship for all that it is, changing the world. And so I am very, very happy about this work and know that it will continue and sustain.
Those also stomping grounds of mine.
Yeah, but Dean Williams is really responsible for the whole idea of having the center, the Entrepreneurship Center, before we were all talking about entrepreneurship.
Right.
So, yeah.
I'm very proud of that. So my expectations, I'm not even sure they attract all this national funding from these large financial institutions. I'm not even sure what the organization structure is now, but they're getting it done, and I'm very proud of that. Yeah, it's like an old granddad sitting back, just observing, but they're doing fine. Yeah.
Together, we will continue to grow, scale, and sustain diverse businesses while building a legacy of innovation. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey. With 20 years of dedicated service to the business community, we remain steadfast in our mission to empower diverse entrepreneurs through innovative solutions. Here's to the next 20 years of impact, growth, and excellence. Together, we can achieve anything.